through that peek in the front, the barrel being opened by the top, you could see a number of food supplies stocked high to the brim. A dark closet. Huh. So, this is the Lich's personal kitchen, I suppose.
I guess. Huh.
He needed to eat?
That's what I'm surprised about.
I mean,
I suppose it's good to keep up appearances.
you can't taste right, Ellen.
I don't know. What did you call me?
I froze. In the pantry, I froze. The sudden shift in atmosphere.
Melon.
That's not the most inaccurate, I guess. I can see it. It's better than Melly. I hated Melly. Hated Melly a lot, actually.
Well, we were trying to come up with a fake Goloin name for you, and
Is Melly... no, no, out of my brain. Is Melon a traditional Goloin name?
I found out we're not great at naming things on the fly.
I've never heard of a melon in my life, besides the fruit, Right. Are we going in now?
I mean, you're the one kind of stopping us.
Sorry, yes. We found our way through. I left the name Melly behind in my brain, rotting, and I accepted the one Melon temporarily. So we peeked through, and on the other side, a fully stocked kitchen. I sort of slid up and peeked around the corner. As I noticed, hard at work, quite literal skeleton crew had begun to form in the kitchen. As inside, we had found a meal made in progress. But for who or what, we had no idea, as we first found our way deeper inside the Lich's innerest sanctum.
GM, I loot the room.
I see.
GM might take some cheese.
Yeah.
GM, I take the cheese.
I turned around, and I noticed everyone had already gone to looting. I stopped. Recognizing the similar urge inside of my heart, I still pushed on, and I felt a little bit disappointed, I suppose, for a moment. What are we doing? They're right there. I suppose they can't really hear, can they?
They can't smell, they can't hear, they can't...
They can't smell, they can't hear? Oh, okay, yeah. All right.
Oh, no.
Drop a whole barrel.
And that moment, I stopped and noticed as Arcot dropped the barrel, and a whole bit of fruit just started rolling its way in my direction. I tried to put my foot out to stop it for a moment, as I noticed Arcot already eating one that she had grabbed from the barrel. One rolled out, and a number of skeletons stopped and stared for a moment at the ground, looking there as they stopped, noticed that, and turned over in our direction. Nice going, idiot.
No, I got this.
I stopped as Yayo moved forward and pushed ahead, the skeletons all stopping and looking, one moving directly up to the door, putting its hands on its hip and nodding its head, raising up a finger for it to wag and shake at us, and started pointing out from behind us to get us out of this room.
We're here on official business. I pulled out the one free meal card provided to us by Ganglion.
I noticed an expression shift as its mouth opened in excitement.
We're supposed to be here.
Shifted, stepped back, and then ushered forward, holding its hands out and pushing everyone to move.
Okay, we're moving.
You can't be serious.
How did that work?
What direction? In, out? Where do you want to go? Okay, I'm going.
All right, let's go.
I suppose this is preferable to the alternative.
A number of skeletons had been moving around, continuing to cook. Once we were being ushered, it seemed they returned to it. As we passed, I noticed as a number of these different plates that were being moved around and the vegetables around here, I gazed at the different varieties that they had. It was interesting. The skeleton began drawing us forward as we went. As we began walking, all of us focused on the skeleton. Our cat gazed down at the food that she had managed to look. crestfallen expression fell on her face in that moment as well, though, as she looked down at the one that she had bitten into, perhaps luckily not in such an intense degree. But there was no doubt mold starting to form upon that meal. And as she looked around, she had noticed that just about every single piece of vegetable and good here was well past its expiration date, no doubt having been spoiled by the week that had passed ever since the Lich's departure.
This food's moldy.
Immediately, a skeletal head, one of the chefs, twisted around a full 180 degrees, looking down and at Arcot. It raised up a hand and picked up the food and shoved it into her face, disapprovingly. Let's.
I don't want it.
There's a stare. The skeleton's face cannot really emote. You could swear there was a slight bit of malice in its expression before all of us shuffling out. We got a good glimpse at just what Arcot had described at that first time as we moved into what was the dining room of this deeper abode, lit by precarious candles that hung on chandeliers, smoke trailing like some form of tavern room, as everyone looked around at the gala and splendor of the dining room. As we walked outside, a number of things became immediately apparent. The skeletons had begun to organize and prepare a sort of dinner table for everyone, but their audience, their guests, were not of the living. You could see it on each one of them, a number of wounds at slightly different spots but of the same origin. A sharp, pointed thrust had rendered all of them deceased. Each one was decorated on the table like some sort of ghastly party, all of them sort of hunched over, one of which face pressed down on the dining room itself. As we stared across the room, I don't think we need to be here right now. I can try to look for a way to go. They usually ignore me, so maybe I'll just head out through one of the other doors.
Hold on.
What?
I thought to myself, those puncture wounds. I considered recent information that we learned. Do you think that matches the weapon that we were described that she was wielding? I turned, thinking about that large figure, the one that cornered Arcot. Oh, this is really bad.
Oh, that could be the case. She might be nearby. But for now, we're going to need to, The skeleton then seemed to interrupt us, very much impatient as it pointed over and tried assigning seats. Looking to Yayo, it tried to place her right here.
Okay.
And as I began to move away, I noticed that the skeleton was not having it this time. Apparently, despite my form, I was registered as a guest as well, as it pointed on over. But as I sat, I began to realize my mistake. It slapped me on the back of the head. Hey! And as I turned, it stopped and pointed over at the bakery. Oh, right. Yes, sir. Off to work, sir. The skeleton organizing the affair seemed to wear a rather unique chef hat and started to assign everyone else to seats, first pointing over Strege sitting right next to one of the bodies, right next to the chair where the Lich would assumedly sit. The stench of the room was, at least from accounts, it had sounded like not overwhelmingly that of death, or at least smelt like these people had been killed recently. I could confirm that in the moment by noticing the blood as well, rather fresh, finished leaking but not quite dried and caked on. The skeleton once more got another person seated, this time guiding these two over to the other side of the room, placing them over at different individual points. One of them was sandwiched in between the two bodies here, and finally, Arcot was placed at the very, very edge of the table. And with that, we'd all been seated, waiting for a meal that is yet to come. There was an awkwardness for a moment as I just sort of stood there, unsure exactly what the skeleton wanted me to do. I reached for a piece of bread to see if I could bring it over, but one of the other skeletons came over and gave me a hush that I could not hear as it shook its head no, and I instead waited for a bit longer.
The smell of iron hung in the air, an interesting layering on the rather opulent dining room, like a scene straight out of a murder mystery novel. Placed between two dead individuals who I understood to be Strawn, I glanced across the table at Strege, having a similar crown of horns, and tried to make brief eye contact. He was often an iron wall and when it comes to his feelings, but I did wonder if he was okay considering the circumstances.
I sat here looking at all the people dead around me. The most concerning thing now is, guess how do we get out of here? As I turn to one of the skeletons shuffling around the room, and I try to wave them down.
One of the skeletons did seem to approach, moving over and leaning in, giving its most courteous bow, mimicking as if it's holding some kind of cloth on its arm that isn't there.
You perhaps know where the restroom is?
It shook its head. No.
Well, you figure that out for me?
It seemed to nod its head and began to step out for a moment, first moving up to a room up here. It very shortly returned, however, and then seemed to sort of step on over this way. And from that point, it had seemed to leave for a far longer time as we were left sitting here. What do I do? What do I do? I was muttering to myself, peeking around.
I raise my hand, trying to call over the chef.
The chef did approach, moving forward, putting its hands on its hips again as it looked at Arcot.
I'm ready to take my order.
It shook its head.
What do you mean, no?
It shook its head again, as instead it seemed to move on over to the side, down with near the wine cabinet as it reached over and pulled out a page from a book. Handing it over, it seemed there was a pre-designed itinerary. The entire meal had been planned, and there was a dish for everyone. And that, then a courteous bow, before moving off again. Usually in some of these higher-end type of dinners, from what I hear, they have a pre-made itinerary, and at that point you eat what is decided. However, there usually is about a decent amount of courses, so I'm sure an appetizer will come out soon enough. That's quite right! A voice seemed to ring out throughout the area.
Fucking God.
A bubbling from beneath you as you noticed a few eyes and the tiniest top of a head pokes out from underneath the chairs as a form emerges out from underneath. Well, hello everyone! Welcome back! I'm so glad you could make it so quickly!
I'm so happy. Hey, Ganglion, our great guest, our wonderful host, we're the guests.
Yeah! I thought you were busy!
We were. We got less busy and found you immediately because we could not wait.
Oh, I can't wait either! I can't! I have to work! I'm doing it right now! I'm cleaning up all the individual dust specks from underneath the flooring!
So you're focusing on the dust specks and not the corpses?
I'm sorry! Despite the unsanitary conditions, these are honored guests and I am not allowed to remove them from this premises!
Seriously?
They are mentioned as honored guests! When I tried to remove them, UMAMI pulled me away, so I believe she wants to feed them.
Wait, this is...
I don't understand.
This is UMAMI's idea?
I don't know.
And once again, Ganglion, you prove yourself to be the most efficient community manager I've ever met. Could you at least...
Thank you.
You're welcome. Since you are not able to remove them, could you at least inform us of why they were invited? They appear to be of the same community at the very least. Rather pointed, if you ask me.
Ah, that's quite correct. They were all... I don't really know. They were all placed here when I got here. That's why I'd attempt to remove them, and then UMAMI decided they were guests. If I am going to be quite blunt, I believe that they had annoyed our recent guest up north.
Oh, your recent guests up north. Okay, that's great. That's so good to know.
Absolutely. I have gone in to offer her some snacks on occasion, and I am well familiar with the sting of a rapier. I believe so. It has never actually struck a nerve, but the mere process of being struck by someone sends an immense electrical sense of pain through my body. After all, if they were to commit harm against me, I must have deserved it in some way.
Oh, she's just in there.
She's in there. Here, I can check now.
Yeah. That's great.
Wait.
We had heard some form of pain scream that had become familiar to any who had met Ganglion as he emerged back out, moving through the door. Yup! She's in there! She had well told me never to speak to her again. And I'm afraid I did. Just now.
Miss Yayo,
Yeah.
when you say she,
The towering figure from the ravine? Yeah, this is really bad.
fine. I'm not gonna run away.
Don't worry, you shouldn't have to do anything. She doesn't like coming out here.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yes, which means more food for you to enjoy.
Yeah, more
After
food.
all, I believe the ante- Oh, first things first. If we have all the guests for the evening, I should serve drinks. One moment. Ganglion slid underneath the table, popping out the other side and starting to move on to the direction of the cabinet, which had a number of drinks present there. Let's see. I'm sure I can find something of use.
Tea, please.
Tea! Perfect! I'll get a bit of tea made up right now. Or I suppose I'll leave that to the chef. Isn't that right, chef? The chef moved, nodded, and then went over to Ganglion and began to exchange words with him. Not that there were any words that emerged, but I could tell Ganglion was in trouble for something. As he looked down, he's like, yes, you're right, I'm sorry. I'm terrible at me. As the chef went to go fetch some tea, I noticed as Ganglion started to slide on over to one of those vents that were sitting in the corner. It's okay. We don't. I tried to come up with some sort of excuse to stop him from opening it. We don't really need to meet anyone right now. We're only passing through. We have no intent. Oh, nonsense! Even if it's just stopping by for the antipasta, let me help you. I think it's an anti. And then, in that moment, popping open the vent.
Oh, there she is. Hey, UMAMI.
Yes, now that our master is here, she can help with setting up and beginning the actual dining experience.
Wow.
This is the worst dinner I've ever been to.
Oh, don't say that! It hasn't even started yet!
Oh no, you are already in the running.
This is UMAMI.
This is UMAMI.
Hi. I shrink down in my chair.
Isn't she great?
Yeah, she looks great.
As I started to approach this way, the chef slammed a cup in my hand and I barely managed to avoid spilling it as I moved on over and submitted myself to the life of a menial.
Hey,
Here you go.
Thank you.
Oh, one moment, I'll bring you your tea in a second.
It's not
Fumbling, yes.
out of pointless customer obsession. Since tea is kept dry, it doesn't mold, so we can at least drink that without poisoning ourselves.
Hey, Fumbling, yes.
Okay, yeah.
If they've got you serving drinks, take as many bottles of Gem Wall as possible.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, here, take it back.
Wait a second.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Perfect. Okay.
Gemwall?
Anyways, here's your tea.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I look around and I seem to have noticed that a drunkard has ditched us in our time of need.
Here you go. All right, there we go. Tea served. Ganglion approached me suddenly. You really gotta serve everyone tea right now. The chef's gonna get really mad. Right. I thought I did. No, you're forgetting our esteemed guests. Oh, right. I began to serve more tea to the corpses, letting the pile of tea just pile up there next to them, untouched, quickly growing cold. Right. Well then, I would love to sit and chat and eat with you, but I can't since I'm on the clock. As they say,
Oh,
that clock specifically. I'm not allowed to leave until it goes off.
that's such a shit. Which clock?
The one over there.
Oh,
He pointed on to a grandfather clock that was sitting in the corner. So, as we all sat for a moment, we did drink some of the tea. After customs dictating it, it did seem fine, as standing there for a little bit, we had waited and watched. And finally, it had seemed that the meal itself started to filter out from the kitchen. delivering out, the chef began dropping off, at first, what appeared to be salads in front of us. The salad leaves were definitely wilted, and the tomatoes that were served with them had begun to become moldy. As, short in hand, everyone was dealt out the different plates. I don't think there's anything else I can do here. Please, dig in! It's on the house!
Ganglion,
What's the matter?
can you come over here?
Yes.
Can you move your hand and put it directly on my plate, please?
That's a bit weird. Okay.
I hope that Ganglion's acidic form will dissolve so I do not have to eat it.
Huh. Wow. That's tasty, I assume.
Ganglion, that was actually very helpful. Thank you.
There's no problem.
I quickly turned, addressing the two skeletons immediately next to me. Do you look at that, community manager? Ganglion's touching the food. Oh my god.
The skeletons immediately launched themselves forward, moving as fast as they could to go grab at Ganglion's side, as I saw the tear ducts in his eyes just sort of swell, the eyes swelling in general as he was pulled back away from the table. I'm sorry! I did a rude thing! That was on me! I shouldn't eat food! Eating food is for people, and I'm not a person!
I quickly wind the clock beyond the hour again and again and again and again.
Oh! Would you look at that? Dinner is over! You have no power over me anymore! I watched as Ganglion slid through the skeletons, his form re-emerging on the other end. Umami, it seems I've done a good thing and managed to run dinner service. They all look so satisfied.
We loved it.
Umami!
It was so good.
It was the best thing ever.
Never felt more full.
Umami! Yes! Umami! Okay, looks like you're all free to go. I hope you enjoyed your one coupon.
Yes, thank you so much, community manager, for
Right.
all the hard work you do.
Yes.
That was incredible. Thank you so much, community manager, as well as Umami.
We try our best to provide for everyone in the community. It's been so long since a Goloin ever's been allowed to eat here. I'm happy to provide for you.
Umami! Umami!
Allowed, you say?
Yes!
I stare at him, long enough to make him feel uncomfortable.
I'm sensing hostility.
No,
But that's probably on me. You're right, it's on me. I'm so sorry.
I'm glad you understand, Ganglion. Since we're such esteemed guests and we've been graciously invited, we need a moment to go and digest the meal that we've had, and the kitchen is too hot and too close. So if we may exit out the other way so we can digest your gracious free meal?
Oh, I would love to. The path above leads to the lounge. That way, but I don't think she would appreciate your presence. So maybe...
Understood. Are there any other spaces we can digest?
There's a study located not too far away from here. However, I don't think you would be cleared or allowed to go there.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
that,
Umami!
yeah, that's such a shame.
Umami seems to say we're fine to go.
Umami!
See?
I don't really... Does she? Is that true, Mommy?
Umami!
Oh, well,
Heard loud and clear, Umami. You're such a kind
well.
host.
Umami! Umami! Umami!
I don't really know if that's...
Umami! Umami! Umami!
We're going, Umami. There's no need to be so energetic about it. I would love to go and see the study. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I have no way to deny this. Please enjoy your time in the study. Oh. The doll started beating him senselessly. It was very cruel. I was somewhat shocked by the appearance of the thing, and it seemed no different than the other ones.
Ah, she's great.
We all began leaving, heading out and moving further into the facility. And as we did, momentarily, unseen by anyone, a form seemed to emerge out from the kitchen, smuggling through a couple dozen bottles in beneath the arm, some of them even seeming to fall away as she started to move. She stepped.
They say it's been too long. It's so nice to see you. You're a good friend of mine. So long farewell at you. No, I can't believe, oh no, not words from thee, but said in facsimile, yearning for that distant we. So I'm searching for near eternity, but I don't know where I should be. Love of branch, no family tree, no friends I have to see. An unfriendly propensity is my natural state to take flight in perpetuity. And so echo back is only me, cut off from precious we.